What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Crypto for You. My name is Tony, and today I want to talk to you guys about Bitcoin, Ruble, and the correlation between them. I want to talk to you guys about what's happening with Ruble, where it's gonna go, and give you guys a little technical analysis on it. So let's get straight into the charts. So if I look at Ruble, you guys can straight up see that Ruble has been, by the chart, falling down from all the way $160 ruble per dollar, all the way to where it is right now, which is at 67. This is actually a good thing because, let me explain, the dollar and ruble chart is actually shows how much dollar can fit into a ruble, which basically means if it's super high, like it was all the way at the peak back in March of 2022, you guys could see that ruble was at 167, which means you could buy 167 or convert 167 rubles with just $1. But right now, ruble has fallen down to about 67, which means that you can only buy or convert 67 rubles with $1, which means the ruble is getting stronger. This is very, very good news for ruble, and that's very interesting because it started to go up back in March of 22. March of 2022 was a very important date because that's when the UK added sanctions to Russia. Back before that, the ruble was rising, which means it was getting weaker, and that was because of the sanctions putting on Russia. But something clicked at March of 2022, which caused it to start to strengthen. The sanctions stopped adding an effect to the ruble's currency, and it actually started to strengthen ruble. So right now, that's why it's been falling down, and that's where it is right now. We do have some stops here and there, but ruble is still being strengthened because of the sanctions and because of all the things that's going on. But anyway, there's some technical things that are also going on. I'm right now on the daily time frame on ruble. You guys can see that if I turn on my moving averages on the daily time frame, you can see that we broke the daily moving averages after falling down significantly. The ruble stopped going up and started to reverse. It fell all the way down to the bottom and tapped support and tried to confirm support on the 20-day moving average, but it failed and broke below it. Confirming resistance, it continued to fall down, breaking through every single resistance and support line until it broke through all of them and continuing to fall down till where we are right now. The reason we broke through all of these moving averages with little to no effort was because the sanctions stopped having an effect on the ruble. Not only that, but if I go on the weekly time frame and I turn on the EMA ribbon, you can see that around this time, right over here, you can see that around this time, right when we were breaking through our daily moving averages, we also broke through the EMA ribbon to the downside, causing us to fall all the way to where we are right now. So what does this mean for ruble? Well, you guys know already that ruble is falling down, and we show no signs of stopping. People think that the sanctions are going to start to help ruble and start to weaken the Russia and its ruble, but that is not the case. As you guys can see, from March 2022 all the way till now, those sanctions did nothing but strengthen the ruble, and they're prepared for this. So those sanctions will not help. People think that the sanctions will save us. No, they will not. Those sanctions will do nothing to help us. I can go on the 4-hourly time frame, and you guys can see that there's this little tiny pump, which means the ruble got a little tiny bit weaker right now, but those pumps happen a lot. And I mean, if we go back in history, you guys can see that there was a small pump here, there's a bigger pump right over here, but that always led to us falling down even farther and making a lower low. The ruble is strengthening, and right now, as we clearly can see, the ruble shows no signs of stopping except for one thing, and that's if we go on the weekly time frame. You guys can see that there's only two indicators, the RSI and stochastic RSI, that is keeping the ruble from falling down farther. It's actually caused ruble to slow down a little tiny bit, but not enough for it to start reversing. These indicators are very low, meaning that the ruble is oversold, but these are not instant acting indicators, which means it could take a while for ruble to reverse, which means we could fall down farther in the smaller time frames. Since this is on the weekly time frame, it's much longer indicator that could make us go farther up, but it will take us a while to follow this indicator, and it will only happen when the RSI and stochastic RSI will go above the 45-point line, which is this dashed line. Other than that, we have no indicator showing that ruble could be stopping. So what we are supposed to do is watch ruble and see that RSI. If the RSI starts to go up, it could make the ruble go up, and if ruble goes up, it could make Russia weaker because its currency is getting weaker. And if you guys think that it's a good thing for Russia to become weaker, then that's why you should wait for the ruble to start getting weaker. But right now, the ruble is getting stronger, which means the Russian currency is getting stronger, which in turn could make Russia become stronger, which right now, with all the wars that's coming out, is a bit scary. But right now, as you guys know, the technical analysis shows that we show no stopping right now, and we just have to watch and wait. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you'd leave a like down below, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to click that post notification bell. See you guys next video. Bye!